Hey everyone, and welcome to Find Your Flow. Today we have a gorgeous, swift vinyasa flow practice to get any stagnant energy shifted, change your perspective, and leave you feeling amazing and ready for the day ahead. So jump on your mat and I will meet you on mine. Welcome everyone, thank you for joining me. We are going to start sitting in a comfortable seat of your choice. So lifting your hips up onto some support to send a little more love to the hip space and the back, and really lengthening our spine as we soften our shoulders and close those eyes. As we close the eyes, can we feel where we've placed the hands? Can we feel the surface beneath our hip space, our bottom? Is it soft, hard, cold, warm? And we notice everything around us as it is right now. And just tune into everything within us that's happening in this present moment. Being with our breath as we inhale and exhale, which is another reminder to help us arrive in this space, or whatever space we're in, whenever we need that little reminder to help us find that inner calm, that stillness or quiet. So just playing with the breath for a moment. Can we inhale for a count of 2, 3, 4 or 5, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Everybody's different. Hold the breath for a couple of beats and then exhale for that same count as we inhaled for. And keep doing this a few more times. Really taking this time to slow things down. Before we flow into our practice and speed things up a little bit. Marrying the effort with the ease, or the stira with the sukha. Nice. 3 more breaths here. Maybe you make your count a little longer, or maybe if you are straining your breath slightly, you can make it a little shorter. And for our last couple, make your exhale even longer. Again, just keep it natural, but a couple counts more than it was before. Return back to your natural breath as we flutter the eyes open and bring our right leg in front of our left. So our shins are coming down towards the ground, keeping this lovely long spine as we take our hands to the back of our head, elbows nice and wide. And as we breathe in, we'll reach our heart forward, gaze high, elbows back a little. Breathing out, curling the chin towards the chest. And keeping our chin curled down and our spine rounded as we reach the arms down towards the ground onto our mat. And then maybe we walk them forward a little bit more, keeping our hips rooted down to our support, and then walking back. Hands come to the back of the head. Inhaling, we open, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, release the arms back behind us like little airplane wings. And from here, bringing our palms all the way down to the ground. Sending our shins down towards the earth as we lift our hips off. Open our heart, gaze a little higher. And then releasing. Lifting back up, bringing the opposite leg in front this time. So the left leg. And again, keep rooting down through the hips as we bring the hands to the back of the head. Inhale, open, gaze high. Exhale, curl and round forwards. Staying here, walking the hands to the ground. And then if we have the space a little bit further forward, just sending so much love to our hips here, awakening the spine. And then jumping back, hands behind the head. On your inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, release the hands, airplane wings, and then bring the palms to the earth. Lifting the hips, lifting our heart, opening, finding space, and releasing. Nice, everyone. Jumping straight forwards to tabletop, all fours, with our wrists beneath our shoulders, knees beneath our hips. Find this sturdy rooted foundation in our tabletop before finding cat pose, tailbone down, arching the spine towards the sky, dropping our gaze, taking a breath in. As we breathe out, let it lead the way as we lift our tailbone, float our tummy down, gaze lifts, cow pose. Nice. 2 more times. Find something new here. Experience how this feels rather than how this looks. Keep pressing the palms into the earth, lifting out of the shoulder space. Nice. And then floating back to our neutral spine, tucking our toes under as we sit the hips back onto the heels. Reach the arms a little bit further out in front. And then sending our hips towards the sky. We'll round through our spine like an angry cat and roll forwards. Dropping our hips down, lifting our heart forwards. Almost finding an upward facing dog, but then sitting our hips straight back, lifting them high, rolling through angry cat forwards, and then down towards the ground. Nice, keep rolling here. Hips back, lifting high, curl through the spine, floating through, lifting the gaze. Nice, 2 more times, all the way back. Let your breath lead the way here. And the next time we come to sit back, stay there, hovering the hips off the heels, knees off the ground. Find a little more length in our spine for 1 breath. And then send the tailbone high, lengthen the legs, downward facing dog. Start to pedal through the heels, one side and then the other, bumping the hips left to right. Walking the feet forwards and coming to find a fold. Feet hips distance apart, head, neck and arms really, really soft. Pedal through the knees here. And then on your next inhale, find stillness in the legs as we lift up halfway, flat back. Nice, lovely long neck here. Exhaling to fold down. Press down through the feet to rise up to standing. Reach for the sky with the arms, gazing up. And then floating them back down, chin towards the chest, we curl to the earth. Planting the palms, stepping both feet back, downward facing dog, lift the hips high. And finding this angry cat again, we roll forward, shoulders over the wrist, shifting our weight forward, stay here. High plank, nice. Option to bring the knees down to the ground if we'd like to. Wherever we are, keeping that weight forward as we send the elbows back behind us, lower down. Hands by the ribcage, feet a little bit wider. As we lift our heart forward, shoulders away from the ears, cobra. Releasing down. Pressing all the way up into our plank pose And then sending the hips high, downward facing dog. Floating the left leg off the mat behind you, three-legged dog. Bending the left knee and opening the left foot over to the right side, finding a bit more space in our hip. And then come to square the pelvis once more, left leg nice and long. Bending that left knee, hovering it forwards towards the left elbow. Upper body's in plank, nice. Then lifting all the way back, three-legged dog. Left knee towards the right elbow, crossing it over. And lifting back, three-legged dog. Before floating through knee towards the nose. And stepping the foot up into a lunge. Now taking the back foot a little bit wider first. And stepping it perhaps a little bit closer towards us. As we press down through the feet, we'll lift all the way up. Arms rise, shoulders soften, high lunge. Back heels off the ground, but sending away towards the earth, finding support from our lower body in our nice wide stance. Taking a breath in, and then floating the right hand down towards the ground. Perhaps we lift onto some support as the left hand spirals the ribs over to the left side and reaches all the way up. Enjoy this twist. Keeping the front knee over the front ankle. Breathing in, breathing out, staying in a twist. As we lift our upper body, right hand floats forwards, left hand floats back. Nice. Taking a breath in here and out. And then pivoting on the back foot. Hands come to the ribs as they spiral to the opposite side and then reach wide. Warrior two. Notice our thighs now externally rotating away. Front knee bends, back leg stays nice and long. Then reaching our left hand down our left leg. Stroking ourselves, getting nice and handsy. We reach forwards. Keep reaching as we rise and lift back. Reverse warrior. Breathing into our side body. Right hand can reach down the leg. Taking one breath here before floating back up, warrior two. And then sending our left forearm to our left thigh. Spiraling the ribs over to the right side. Right hand reaches in our side angle pose. It might feel great to have the hand towards the sky or reach over. Really listen to your body here. And we can always send our left hand a little bit lower again if there's space. Find one more breath wherever you are. And then lift back up, warrior two. Pivoting on the back foot as we float the hands down and step back into our plank pose. Moving swiftly but mindfully with our breath. Knees can be lifted or lowered. Shifting the weight forward, elbows float back. Coming down to the ground, making your way into cobra, heart forward. Nice. And softening, lifting your way into your plank pose, sending the hips high, downward facing dog. Right leg reaches off the mat in our three-legged dog, bending the right knee as we open through the hip. Send the foot over to the left side. Nice. Maybe peek underneath your right armpit. Hello everyone. Taking one more breath here before squaring the hips, lengthening that right leg, and then bending the knee, hovering it forwards towards the right elbow. Nice. Spreading through the fingers, lifting back, three-legged dog, and then crossing it over right knee to left elbow. Gorgeous. One more time, lifting back, and the knee towards the nose, curl through the spine before stepping straight up into your lunge. Stepping your feet a little bit wider, maybe a little bit closer, as we root down to rise up strong. Hands reach, elbows soften, really keeping this length through the spine. Nice. Breathing in, breathing out. And then left hand floats down into our twist. Right hand reaches towards the sky, finding space, sending lots and lots of love to our spine. Staying in the twist, lifting our upper body. Left hand forward, right hand back. Nice. Really feeling this rotation from our rib cage. Taking one more breath here before pivoting the back foot to the earth, hands to the ribs as they spiral over to the left and arms reach wide, warrior two. Really keeping our arms here with some purpose, energy shooting through the fingertips, both feet rooting down before the right hand floats down the right leg. Keep reaching nice and tall as we rise and all the way back. Can we reach a little taller through the right hand? And then floating back, warrior two. Right forearm to the thigh, side angle pose. Choose your own adventure here in your side angle. Keep this heart radiating towards the sky. Nice. One more breath here. Before lifting up and pivoting on the back foot, coming down to the ground, stepping our way into plank pose. Knees lifted or lowered. We shift our weight forward, lower down. And set up into your cobra pose, shoulders away from the ears. Make your way down to the ground. And two options here, either lifting the hips, downward facing dog, or keeping the knees on the ground, nice and wide, toes together, child's pose. Wherever you are, really make the most of this. Connect back to your breath. Maybe you find a little counted breath that we explored earlier, if that feels good. Even if it's just for one round. And everybody, if you're in child's pose, will meet in downward facing dog. So take your time to arrive there. There is absolutely no rush. Nice. Then walking, stepping or hopping the feet forwards. We'll come to a forward fold. Inhaling to lift up halfway, finding a flat back. Exhaling to release. Rooting down, we rise up, reach for the sky. Palms float together and come down at the heart as we sit our hips back. Chair pose, Utkatasana, lengthening through the spine. Notice the space around the pelvis here. Can we stay nice and long in one lovely line? Beautiful. Then shift our weight into our toes as we rock off our heels, perhaps sitting back a little lower. Just for a couple of breaths, even if we're going to explore it for a second. Nice. And smile here before bringing the heels down and twisting over to the right side. So keeping our lower body where it is, really exploring this twist through our center and through our rib cage, just like we've been doing our whole practice. Staying in our twist, stepping the left leg back. We can drag our toes along the ground as we find a nice wide stance in our twisted lunge. Beautiful. Breathing here. And then opening the palms, finding space as we maybe gaze towards the sky. Really connect to our strength as we float the hands back to center and pivot the back foot to the ground, rising warrior two to the left. Nice. Make sure we have that nice wide stance, so we're sending some love and space to our sacrum and lower back. Arms reach, then floating the front hand down the front leg, reaching all the way forwards, up and back, reverse warrior. Releasing back into our warrior two, and then finding our side angle pose. If we have the space, we might like to explore a bind here. Hands reaching behind, but making sure we aren't finding compression in the front body and the neck space. Finding one more breath here. Before releasing, hands come back to the heart as we pivot back into our lunge twist. Woohoo! Nice. And then step that back foot forwards to meet the front foot, chair pose. Come all the way back to center. Reach the hands for the sky. Open the palms, find space. And then float all the way back together. Hands down at the heart. Bending our knees, sitting back. Utkatasana. Finding a little Agni or fire as we twist over towards the left side now. Nice. Then stepping the right leg back, staying in your twist. Taking a nice wide stance, remember, so we aren't on that tightrope where we're struggling to balance. Feeling the ground through the feet, but keeping the toes soft. We open our palms, finding space. Invite a little more as we breathe. Nice, and coming all the way back, pivoting the back foot to the ground, opening warrior two to the right. Sending our front hand down, our front leg, reaching forwards, up and all the way back, finding our flow. We come back, warrior two. And then make our way into our version of side angle pose. Maybe we reach behind for that bind if that's in our practice today. But remember, it might not be today or ever, so it really doesn't matter. Just do what feels good. Find one more breath before making your way back. Palms float together as we twist. Make our way into our lunge. Twisting over to the left side. And then stepping the back foot up to meet the front foot, chair pose. Coming all the way back to center, we rise, shoot the hands towards the sky. Open, finding space. And then palms come together, down at the heart, mountain pose, Tadasana. Nice. Take a moment here to breathe in and out. And release the arms, shake out the hands and the feet. And then come to turn on your mat to step nice and wide. We'll turn our toes out. And just like we did in our warrior two, this external rotation in our thighs, we'll do the same thing here as we enter our goddess pose. So as we send our thighs away from each other, our knees bend, coming over our feet. We can bring our hands to our hips here, or maybe explore reaching our hands towards the sky, or cactus arms. Bending the elbows generously, nice. And again, like we did in our chair pose, think about where our pelvis is. Are we sticking our bottom out or thrusting our hips forward? Can we find this space right in the center? Beautiful. Staying here or lifting off the heels, shifting our way onto our toes. Perhaps we sit a little lower. Nice. Keeping tall through the spine. 3 more breaths. Everybody release. Nice. Well done. Gorgeous. Heel toe the feet a little bit closer together, but keep the toes turning out. As we bend our knees very generously, come to sit in Malasana, a yogic squat. Just bring the hands down and find a gentle rocking from side to side. You can bring the hands onto some support here if they don't touch the ground. Nice, and then shimmying your way back to face the front of your mat. We'll come to stillness, send our bottom all the way down to the ground, feet in front. But straight away, bringing our hands to our hamstrings as we rock back onto our tailbone. Keep our heart lifted, spine long, and start to play with taking our weight totally off our feet. And using this strength that we've used today and cultivated to help find a little more support in our boat pose or Navasana. And we can really play with this and make it our own. So we might like to keep the toes just on the ground or lift one leg at a time. We can lift both legs. We can lengthen both legs. We can reach the arms off. Really just find your own flow here. Woohoo! And don't forget to breathe. Nice. Wherever we are, finding 2 more breaths. Calming the mind. Strengthening the body. And releasing the feet down. Hands come behind us. Gorgeous. Well done, everyone. Cooling it down. Crossing the right ankle over the top of the left thigh. We can walk our left foot out or in as much as we like to. Keep that right foot nice and active. And then taking hold of the right leg. Imagine we're cradling our little leg baby here. Sending some love to those hard worked glutes and hip space. Nice. And then sending the right hand behind us and twisting over towards the right side just slightly. Releasing here. And making our way back to center, right leg down, lifting our left leg up and over our right thigh. Hands come behind now. Really notice the difference in space you might have from one side to the other, and appreciate and love it. Know that's who you are. And just breathe with it. In time, we might find a little more space. So watch it as it unfolds. Going to take hold of the left leg. And the left hand floats behind. We twist very slightly over towards the left leg. Beautiful. Make your way back to center and lift your hips back onto your support as we find our comfortable seat. Nice. And from here, we'll reach our arms all the way out wide and towards the sky, gazing up if we can. Sending the shoulders away from the ears, finding a glorious breath in and out. And then palms come together gently and down to the heart center. Closing the eyes. Noticing everything as it is now. Acknowledging and appreciating the little fire we've just created. We might feel a bit warmer now. We might notice the energy surging around our body. We might notice our heart pumping a little faster. All of these things. Just listen into them. I thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you are feeling absolutely great. Sending all my love from my heart to yours. Namaste.